Bonjour, Ginamagi and Nene Ireland edition of CAS, and welcome to this production of the My Math Network. Today's episode, Chapter 6, Lesson 2, Hands-on Using Models to Multiply. Prior to continuing this video, you should make sure that you have the Lesson 2 packet, which begins on page 385, available to you. If that requires you to pause the video to go get it, you should do such now. All right, let's look at our essential question for Chapter 6. Can you believe we're in Chapter 6 already? We're almost the completion of what would have been the first book. And the essential question is, how is multiplying and dividing decimals similar to multiplying and dividing whole numbers? And I gave you a spoiler alert that a lot of the material requires the same skills. So let's go ahead and get into the book right off the bat. Yep, our 10 by 10 grid awaits us, and this is on page 385. The expectation is that you fill this in as we go. At any point that we're moving too fast on the video, feel free to pause the video and then finish what you're writing and then unpause the video as you go. You're at home. You can do it however you want. Just make sure you do it. So there's a couple slides here, and I'm going to grab my annotation tool right off the bat. And I like to use the lighter colors because it'll eventually help me out. So we want to shade 4 rows of each model to represent 0.44 tenths times 2. They're doing the 4 bottom. Normally, I tend to go up and down, but I'm going to go this route because that's what they're doing. And there is no right or wrong way. Just make sure you're consistent. So that's 2 tenths. Now 3 tenths, 4 tenths. I'm going to change my color, and you'll see why in a minute. Let's get the other one. Who allowed me to use yellow and green? It's like a waste management dumpster. No, they didn't pay me to say that either. Some people get the inside joke. So far, I have shaded in 4 rows on each to represent 4 tenths, and there are 2 groups of that 4 tenths. You should fill this in. You could just use a regular pencil. I do advise that you always use it lightly. You don't want to press real hard, because sometimes when you get into other parts, you'll like subtraction, you need to erase. Or if you make an error, you don't want to end up putting a hole through your paper. Let's go ahead and fill that in. I'll give you about 20 or 30 seconds. I like your penmanship on this, and great drawing, staying within the lines. You should be proud of yourself. All right, let's go ahead and clear the drawings, because I'm going to need that to go to the next slide. And you can see that they did that as well. All right, so now I need to combine. And I'm going to go, and then I'll add here. This is the same problem, so I'm going to pick my colors back up. Let's get the yellow and my highlighter. I cannot believe how difficult this is to do to stay within the lines. And then again, you see my penmanship on here, so you probably already are very aware how difficult it is for me. There's the first group of 4 tenths. Let's get these less than aesthetically pleasing colors of that football team. And we have now shaded it in. The amount shaded in is 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, which is read as 8 tenths. So the answer is 8 tenths, or 0.8. I could check it using repeated addition. 4 and 4 is 8. I lined up my decimals. 0.8, we're good to go. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Give you a moment to continue filling that in. Then we'll move on to the top of 386. About another 30 seconds on that part. All right. You see how their answers, they kept the same colors. So we have another one here. 6/10 times 3. So I'm going to grab my annotation tool. We'll start with green, I suppose, since it's there. And I need to shade in 6 rows of each one to represent 6/10. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me make that prettier. 5. So it didn't turn out prettier. 6. Now let's change the color. Let's go yellow. I know it's going to be the same height. 3, 4, 5. You should be filling this in as we go here as well. 6. And let's pick orange. Why not? 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you should have all 3 of these shaded in as we go through here. I will give you about 30 seconds to shade this in, and then we'll move to the top of the next page. The 15 seconds. You don't have to have it super dark. I'm going to clear this page. You can see that they did it all in dark. So now we need to combine it. All 3 of those models. This is why I chose to do different colors. And that is so that you can see where they all came from. And yeah, I could just opt to shade it all in. One whole color, and that would be okay. But I'm not going to because I wanted you to see where they all come from. So there's the first group of 6/10. Here's the second group. Again, it would be acceptable if you went up and down as long as you're consistent. It'll give you the same answer. So now the total amount shaded is 1 whole one and 8 columns, which is 8/10. So our answer is 1 8/10, or 1.8. Go ahead and fill that in. As you're doing that, notice that the green, the yellow, the orange all came from different parts. You don't have to have multiple colors. That is A-okay. Give it another 10 seconds here. We're going to go, we'll do the talk about it next. Still on this page. So we're just going to discuss this. You don't have to write it down, although you're more than welcome to. Table shows some factors in their products. Where factors are multiplication, the numbers multiplied, and products are the answer. Write a rule you can use to find the product of a whole number and a decimal without using models? Notice 0.4 times 2 is 0.8. 0.6 times 3 is 1.8. Now you look at the whole numbers. 4 and 2 gives you 8. 6 and 3 gives you 18. 7 and 5, 35. You notice that the only thing is we multiply as if they're whole numbers, and then we move the decimal point based on how many decimals are in the previous number. That's it. All right, I want to go ahead and let you practice a couple, and we'll start with number 3. I want you to, in a moment, you're going to pause the video. You're going to do this. I want you to do the 0.3 on each of the two and then combine it. If you want to use multiple colors using colored pencils, you may, but you're not required to do such. So go ahead and pause the video. I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. You had 3 rows here, 3 rows there. So that's 2 groups of 3 rows or 3/10. Put them together. There's now 6, which is 0.6. Let's skip ahead. We're going to do number 5 next. You can see what number 4 would look like. 2 groups of 7. You fill the whole one up because there's 14 rows. 2 groups of 7 rows. 7 times 2 is 14. That gives you a whole one and 4/10. All right, go ahead and do number 5. Let's see how this works out for you. Let me pause the video now. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. 3 groups of 3 is 9. 3 groups of 3 rows is 9 rows, which doesn't quite fill a whole one, so it's still 0 whole ones and 9/10. Let's move ahead to number 8. Be the last one. Caleb is growing a plant in science class. Plant grows 0.4 centimeters each week. By the way, we call that 4 millimeters. How much will the plant grow in 3 weeks? Go ahead and pause the video, find your answer, and come back and let's see how you did. You may pause the video now. Welcome back. Let's see how it went. We had four rows, 3 different times. You put together, that's 12 rows. Here's your first 10. Here's your 11th and 12th. So you have 1 whole and 2 left over, and you should abbreviate it centimeters. All right, let's look at your assignment. My expectation is that you'll use the paper copy to do your practice, and then you'll write your answer in on the Google form. It's the only real way to shade these in and do your drawings, as you can't write on your computer. I tried it. My wife yelled at me for getting Sharpie all over a computer. There's only 4 problems. If you're stuck, please reach out to me at mireland@psychchipschool.net. Hopefully this assignment was simple enough for you. I look forward to seeing how well you did. Remember, the best way to get these lessons is to participate in our live stream. The schedule is in your Google Classroom on the stream page. And we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Minwa Bamapi.